Welcome to WagerTalk Today, the gold standard of sports betting shows where we talk the talk and walk the walk. My God, it's noon Eastern time, and there's just Dan, get in here. We have so much going on.
Too much
today.
There's too much.
It really is. So we need to go over what's happened in the golf tournament and with our official pick. But give us the rundown because we got a jam-packed show. We got a ton of guests. What are we going over on this show? And then let's talk some bets.
Yeah, it's being called Morikawa Gate. We'll talk about that coming up here in just a few here on WagerTalk Today. Yanni's going to kick us off. He's back, folks. We're going to run down the Steam sheet, the Steam report with him. Then we're going to get to Joe Raineri because he's going to give you a best bet for you live viewers. 12:30, Iowa State, Texas Tech. How should you bet it? Joe's going to let you know. He's also got some NBA on Prime action for you. My Sixers taking on Chris Allen's Pistons. Celtics taking on Thunder. Carmine's going to be with us. This dude is on an absolute heater in NHL action. He'll give you 2 NHL free plays. Oilers, Stars, Penguins, Golden Knights. He's got a 5%er rocking tonight that you don't want to miss. And then a special treat, Andy, here on a Thursday. Steve Merrill, 2 R's and 1 L. 2 basketball games with hopefully 0 L's. TCU, Kansas, Clemson, North Carolina. Loaded show. I got a WTF and LFG lacrosse play that we're liking. We also got one loaded for clients, Andy. You're taking them all around the world. We have no time to waste, Andy. Let's get these folks some winners here, man.
Okay, so let's address the Colin Morikawa situation. So this was leg 3 of our Let It Ride mission. Colin Morikawa plays 1 hole, goes to the second tee box, takes a practice swing, hurts his back, and withdraws. Here is how the books, as I've talked to a couple books, or I'm sorry, I talked to one book. DraftKings and MGM properties are voiding, and Dan, you saw that in your account already. It's been voided.
Yeah, mine was voided.
Friend of the show, Seth, played this on Bet365. That is being graded as a loss. You're going to have to check your books. I don't even have advice except for this. If your book does not void, I would raise holy hell. I would argue and argue and argue. I would cite DraftKings. I would cite BetMGM. I would send them the tweets, the social media. I would fight. It's a long shot, but it can happen. I have done this. I have argued my way into voids when something was BS. So it's going to be graded on DraftKings and MGM as voids. If your book does not void it, I'm taking my business elsewhere. If you guys don't void this, I'm going to the books. Do whatever you can.
Yeah, even if you're not, your business. This is your time to be a Karen. Go Karen mode, because I got mine voided. You got to get yours voided if you bet it over at the Blue Book, man.
Yes, yeah. So let's bring in Gianni. Gianni, a crazy situation. You've had a million bets in your day. What do you do with a situation like this? It's so weird.
Huh? Sorry.
So we had this golfer. He played 1 hole and then he withdrew because he hurt his back. Some books are voiding it. Some books are not voiding it. My advice is if your book doesn't void it, raise holy hell. Because they're going to want to keep you around. That's the thing. Like, for them to just credit it takes them nothing. Takes them a second to do. Always push back. It's almost like I talked about with the rating. You never want to walk away from blackjack table, roulette wheel, without talking to a pit boss first and asking them, hey, what are you putting me in for? You want to know what your rating is, because you could easily push that up. And here's, for example, let's say I'm sitting at a $25 table. So it's $25 limit. I'm playing. 2 hours go by. I go to check out and I say, okay, usually people just leave. And it's a $25 table. The pit boss ain't paying attention. So he's going to put you down $25 average hand for 2 hours. That's what's going to go in the system. But you could change that very easily. You stop and you say, excuse me, what are you putting me in for? And he's going to say, yeah, you average about 25 a hand. Say, no, big, you got to do better than that, please. Last time the guy did that to me and it ruined, my comps. Say I played dozens of $50, $100 hands throughout these 2 hours. You got to do better than that. They're always going to give you more. Like, easily he'll bump that up to 50 a hand, 75 a hand. And that difference in ROI is huge, because as a gambler, that's part of your ROI, your comps. So you're able to get, at least for, advantage players,
being able to get all that stuff for free is huge. But if you don't ask for it, of course, they're not going to give it to you. It doesn't cost him anything. Like, it's not the pit boss's money. So he gets to play the man for a second, and you make him feel good. Like, you have all this control, all this power. You can put me in for 100 a hand. Bro, I had a guy at the Bellagio, I swear to you, that put me in at a $5,000 average hand. Like, he almost did it jokingly because I played a $5,000 hand, and he put down that average for me. And we only played like maybe an hour and 90 minutes. But within 10 days, I got the best offers I ever received in my life from MGM, just because that dude put in that 5,000 average hand. And I probably was averaging like maybe 1,000, 1,500 back then. But he jacked that up. And again, it cost him nothing. And no one's going to care about that. So yeah, if you got burned on that bet, email customer support. Stay on top of that. Tell them other books are paying it out. And believe me, more times than not, they're going to take care of you.
Agreed completely. Yeah, they want to keep you around. And you don't know until you ask.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. You like, if you don't ask, you're never gonna know exactly what
Don't be shy.
Yes. Hound them. So all right, let's get to the steam sheet. I know we're heavy on college basketball. Games are already starting. So what do we got so far?
Yeah, and there's a lot. And like yesterday's steam sheet, and I don't want subscribers, especially new subscribers, to get disappointed because we've been low volume the last 2 days. This is by design. We're betting everything, and that's why I've added it into the steam sheet so that you're able to also bet on stuff that you like. Obviously, if you're handicapping and betting your own stuff, I'm helping you confirm it, like I'm able to do with the stuff that I'm watching from other betting syndicates. But I remained very selective the first day or two because historically, I know that a lot of two-way action is taking place. And we're seeing a lot of that, meaning there's a lot of manipulation going on. If you're trying to read the board, it's very difficult at this time. A perfect example of that is look at St. John's. St. John's just went off. And if you look at that line, it's very hard to conclude what happened. Like, is there a sharp side? What is the sharp side? You look at like a Bet Online, they opened it, overnight's got hit. But since then, it's kind of sit at 11, 11 and a half, 12, 12 and a half, going back down. It's real hard to determine, are they on the dog? Are they on the favorite? Like, if you're guessing at this point, it's real difficult with the conference tournament and March Madness because it isn't that clear. These lines are really tight, kind of like NFL playoffs, where once the line moves significantly, usually the value's been extracted, and many times it's on the other side. So we're seeing a lot of games being bet on both sides. Today, perfect example, Ohio State, Iowa State. I have two different groups that I bet for. One of them has Ohio State at a pick 'em. The other one has Iowa at +2. So both are plus EV long-term. Both have been profitable, but one sees it at a pick 'em value, the other one at +2. And probably if you look, that game's going to go off at probably 1, somewhere there in the middle. So there's nothing wrong with being selective because when you do have conviction, you're going to get a ton of value this time of year because of the influx of recreational bettors. So here's some of that college basketball stuff that is in the accounts already. 749 Mississippi +6.5. St. John's, I told you about that one, went off. 732 Seton Hall -3. 764 Grand Canyon -3.5. 774 Charlotte -1. 713 George Washington -6.5. 718 Duquesne -1. And extra board game 306 511 under Alabama A&M, Texas Southern under 142.5. 142, 143. We hit that from that's another one where it looks like the line got bet over, but it was all manipulated to get steamed under. You're seeing a lot of that with the totals, and you're seeing a lot of two-way action with the sign. So be very cautious if your approach is piggybacking the sharp move. Like there's a lot of sharp action in the market right now because there's a lot of money to be made. Sides, totals, first halves, second halves, team totals. I'm seeing these boards get bet so much, Andy. Like it's like a Saturday of college basketball but on a smaller board. Like over these next couple weeks is a ton of betting opportunities. Don't let it overwhelm you because of the amount of matchups and the fact that every couple hours we have a group of 4 or 5 games going off. Like if you're not prepared and you haven't handicapped that next slate of games, let it go. Go on to the next one. Like there's a lot of work you're going to have to put in over these next couple weeks because of, like I said, just so much betting opportunities. But there's nothing wrong with being selective, picking your spots, because again, the value will be there and the numbers don't lie. So far, so good. And just going to keep grinding away. If you have any particular matchups, anything you want to touch on, any questions, like I said, I power rated every single game. What I do is I wait to see his plays come in. If it matches my power rating, we fire. 721 NC State, perfect example. That game just went off. I had it power rated Virginia minus 4.5, 5 max. At 7, I thought it was a good play. I liked the way it matched up as well. We took NC State. Another play that came in was, where's that early one? The George Washington Fordham. They steamed that over, but my power rating showed that the total under was the value side. So I passed. I didn't even touch it. And that's just how I've been approaching it. So some days, guys, will have volume because it lines up with the power ratings. Other times we won't. The bottom line is we're turning profit. And right now, as we head into today's action, up over 85 units, number 1 in college basketball, 55%, over 450 bets, 5.6% ROI. We could do that all day, every day. So let's make some money over the next couple of weeks.
So with these conference tournaments, like the line, you don't know who's playing who from day to day. So the books are coming out with these lines. Is it just vanilla lines, and that's why these sharps and these syndicates have the advantage?
Yes, because it's almost like the overnights that are 90+% power rating, and then you start adding factors in. Like, oh wait, this guy played too many minutes, or this guy didn't play any minutes. He got fouled out by the first half. You know what I mean? Like then you start digging into the games by game and how they match up. Because like you said, you don't even know who they're playing next. And you can't anticipate. Like, again, you know that Duke's going to beat whoever and they're going to advance. We get that. But there's the other side of the bracket. And if you try to get out ahead and try to figure out how it's going to turn out so you could start creating lines, that's just foolish. You should already have your numbers set up each team so that when the matchup comes up, it should take you all 3 minutes to do the calculation. At least that's how I work. I have every team power rated. So if you tell me team A versus team B, I do the calculation. That gives me a number to at least work with. And then from there, I start looking at my factors too. So I think that's why you do get a ton of two-way action, because a lot of these lines are going to be like sometimes way off based on recency bias, based on what happened last night. Because it changed the complexity of the game, the next game. But if it wasn't so recent, that may not be the case. But having just played less than 12 hours ago, you do have to factor that in, where recency bias actually does matter.
Anything you're seeing in NBA tonight? I believe you were on the Heat, possibly.
Yeah, Miami Heat. We got down on Miami early, and I saw a little follow through on Miami as well. What I will share with you, here's the NBA that's being bet with college basketball. Here's what they're doing. They're not spending much time on NBA. So they're looking at the NBA board real quick. And when I say they, I mean the recreational bettors, casual bettors. And they'll look at the matchup or the tide that they like, and they'll take that and they'll start parlaying it or teasing it with the college basketball. And the side that they are loving so far today is they are tying in, let me see, team number 1 is, Grizzlies. The Grizzlies, I don't know why, but it's home dogs. They love the Grizzlies. They love the Spurs at home, -6. They're teasing the Spurs down to win the game, I guess. And the Celtics as road dogs against the Thunder. Now, that might change between now and tip-off. Usually the Thunder get money, so that one threw me a little bit. But definitely the Spurs are that team that's being tied into a ton of college basketball already.
Yeah, let's see. You got Jason Tatum and Derek White are questionable for Boston. This would make sense if you want to give Tatum a rest going up against the Thunder. Looks like the Spurs, Wembanyama's questionable, but Denver, I believe Denver's on back. Yeah, Denver's on a back-to-back. So I'm guessing that's why the Spurs are taking money.
Getting money.
Yeah, Memphis, it doesn't surprise me. They're a tanking team, but they're playing another tanking team in Dallas. So it makes sense if you're going, well, two teams are tanking. I guess we'll just take the home dogs and the points with that one. So any interesting line movements in UFC? I see Jillian Robertson is taking a bunch of money.
Yeah, we're there. I'm so glad you brought that up. Go ahead.
I didn't ask you about the Drew Dober, Michael Johnson situation last week. Were you able to did you get down on Drew Dober? It's an auto play for me. I tell all my guys, if there's a $1 move after weigh-ins, this is an automatic big fire. And it just happened again. Did you see the rumors
of the kidnapping of Michael Johnson's kids? Yeah, dude.
Dan, are you aware of this?
I'm not aware of this. No.
More of that. I'm surprised there's not more of that, or maybe there is, and I don't pay attention to it. But you would think with social media, you could really manipulate the market. Like personally, if I don't have a Twitter right now, but had I not been hacked, like I think I could go on Twitter and actually manipulate a line if I wanted to. Like if I just throw out there that I have inside information on an injury, rest assured, people are going to believe it. Like I'm pretty sure we could move the market a little bit. So I'm surprised that doesn't happen a lot more. But I guess, you can only cry wolf so many times. So I don't think you could get away with it a lot. But I'm sure there's accounts out there that could easily manipulate the market with a tweet here or there, letting you know some information. That for sure.
Ariel Helwani, absolutely. One tweet. Mm-hmm. That line. So Dan, what happened was we had this huge line movement on a fighter. I don't know if it's true or not. I don't want to make light of a situation where they're like, oh yeah, his nephew got kidnapped by this gang, and the gang said, Michael Johnson, you got to go down in round 2, and he gets knocked out in round 2.
Yeah.
Now I will say this, if you're gonna fix a fight, I don't know if I want to stick my chin out there and get my head blown off. But when you see these line moves, what do you always say, Gianni? Follow the money.
That's it. It tells you everything. That, like, even with information, when someone tells me, oh, did you hear about this? I don't even reach out to someone else to confirm. I just look at the betting line. Like, if it's not factored into the betting line, it's probably not true. Like, if you're going to tell me about a star player being injured, it's going to show up in the market. Like, I'm pretty sure my Uber driver wasn't the first to get the information. I'm positive my barista wasn't the first to get the information either. So I'm pretty sure someone in the betting market probably got it before either of those two sources. So if they're giving you that kind of info, I would check the betting line before believing it.
I'm going to push back slightly. I used to work in a hotel on overnight room service.
Oh, that's a different story, bro. That's like telling me you work at a strip club in Vegas. That's a different story.
we can get some
we're talking
good information.
A whole different animal of information.
All right, UFC. It looks like Jillian Robertson's been the big line move. You seen anything in UFC right now? We'll go into more detail tomorrow.
Tomorrow for sure. But here's what's sticking out, because I talked about it, and I'll sound like a broken record. The favorites keep winning. Even last week, it wasn't a ton of favorites, but 8 out of 12 favorites got the money. So that's 67%, which is kind of like average on par. It's about 65%, but we're still close to that 80% favorites. So what you're seeing is books are bringing out favorites that are like minus 200. But they're bringing them out at like minus 250 instead, and seeing what the market's going to do, and letting recreational bettors bet them up to like that minus 300 range. Now, what's going to be interesting is, are the sharp bettors going to go in and take the dogs? Are guys like myself going to say, wait, there's a lot of value on these plus 250s, plus 260 dogs. Granted, on paper, they don't look great, but I know I'm getting the best of it. It'll be interesting to see if because again, we get punched in the face for doing that a lot. But if you do it long-term, you're going to do well, because we know historically the market's around 65%. That's what favorites cover in MMA. So anytime you're having an outlier, you expect to regress and progress towards the mean. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is going to happen when December 31st rolls around. Here's what I can promise you. Favorites will not be 78% in the UFC. That's not going to happen. So for us to not get there, we're going to need some dogs between now and December 31st. Are they all going to come Saturday? Probably not. but I would not be, I need more conviction to bet favorites over these next few weeks than I do dogs. I'd feel a lot more comfortable leaning on a live dog this weekend than unloading on some of these big favorites. Again, not that I'm not going to be on favorites, but you're going to have some strong conviction. At least I will, to bet some of these, minus 200 and higher chalk.
Absolutely. What do you have up for everybody on Thursday?
All right. Nothing at Sports Memo yet. But since I said only gold goes in there, we're sitting at 4-0 at Sports Memo. So take a peek every day over there and see. I'm only going to throw something over there if I absolutely love. I explained why. Now, go to WagerTalk.com. There's 3 free premiums for you. There's English soccer, Ecuador soccer, and Colombian soccer. 3% premium plays are there for free for you. The Steam Sheet's up. Already has college basketball, soccer, some other stuff. More will be added nonstop throughout the day. And once I put together a premium card, I'll put a package up also. So far, we've got a 4% in NBA, 3% in college basketball released. And once I fire 4% or 2, we'll get that package up also. And of course, the UFC's up with 3 premiums already. Big couple days ahead with conference tournaments and the big dance later. Get ready for it. And Saturday Steam Room Live, free. We'll talk March Madness futures and all kind of fun stuff. We'll cover a little bit more tomorrow, but it's free on Saturday. Best of luck, Andy. Best of luck, Dan. And thanks again for having me, brother.
Thanks, Gianni. Appreciate you, man. Have a great Thursday. Let's bring in Joe, because Joe's breaking down a game that literally starts here in a couple minutes. Joe, nothing like assigning you a game that starts at 12:30 when you come on at 12:22.
Well, it's good for the live peeps. I mean, anybody joining us live right now, hurry up, because this Iowa State and Texas Tech game, a rematch of a game that we just saw recently here between these two teams, should be a good one. Overnight, we saw what? We saw Iowa State 4.5-point favorites, nothing but Iowa State rather money. Since then, we're sitting at 6.5 right now. The total still hovering around the 143.5 mark. And the thing that you got to remember about the first time that these two teams played, don't forget, Toppin had just gone down for Texas Tech, but Iowa State was coming home from a game against Utah in the altitude. And they came home and took on Texas Tech. And I remember this because a lot of people were going out and, they lost Toppin. There's no way Texas Tech is going to go to Hilton and do. Yeah, well, they went to Hilton and they didn't miss a shot, which is crazy. In fact, 14 of 26 from 3 is what happened in that game with Texas Tech. So the problem is, I'm not sure they're going to go 14 of 26 from 3 again. Iowa State clearly didn't take Arizona State lightly yesterday because that game was over in the first 5 minutes. You got to Texas Tech, I give them all the credit in the world, but when you lose a guy like JT Toppin, it's not, this time of year is going to be very difficult for them, especially against an Iowa State team that is foaming at the mouth right now. I mean, who goes to Hilton and wins a game and goes 14 of 26 from 3-point range? Not many teams, but they gave Christian Anderson all sorts of fits in that game. But again, 14 of 26 will erase a lot of the errors and issues they might have had. I don't see that happening again. I agree with the market move towards Iowa State. I think they handle business. I think they handle it rather easily, in fact. Texas Tech is going to have their hands full here today. They're going to be playing from behind, and I don't think they're going 14 of 26 from 3 again in this one, Andy. So, give me Iowa State. That looks like a very well-oiled machine right about now.
Yeah, and Andy, you mentioned like nothing like scheduling the games here for 12:30. That's also college basketball. Like, Joe, that's like the biggest game of the day here today, and they're like middle of the day. But that's why we go at noon. So at least some thoughts covered on Iowa State. And Andy, you can tell them about what we've been keeping an eye on here and get Joe's thoughts. So
yeah. So Marco came on last week and talked about this crazy court that they built for the Big 12, the women and the men, and he was saying the court's weird, and so takes them under. So we've been tracking this. Went 3-1
I
yesterday.
hope you didn't in the Kansas State game. Hope you didn't there.
Well, so it was 3-1 yesterday to the under. It was 1-3 the day before. We're right around 50%. So we're just updating the line. So Iowa State, Texas Tech 67.5, UCF Arizona 76.5, BYU Houston 68.5, TCU Kansas 66.5. It's just something we've kind of been monitoring. Can't say it's worked out great one way or the other.
Yeah,
but
I mean, it's been exactly 500. And Andy, one thing that I will say, I mean, Joe points out there, hope you didn't in that Kansas game because dear God,
Kansas State was hilarious. Yes,
I mean, it was anything that could fall. But I almost feel like too, Andy, the time to maybe jump in if you were picking your spots was early because each game, it's another time that they're playing on this insane AI ass court. So each game, there's more and more familiarity with it. So
truth.
That's so tread lightly, folks. I think the cat is out of the bag, so to speak.
And they hate it. I mean, the players are coming out. And,
how couldn't you?
It's
dumb as shit.
I mean, the players have to go out there with a bottle of Windex, is what they have to do each and every. They're slipping all over the damn place. They're like, there's nothing. Then the lights come on, they switch the screens, and the players are like, what? One guy almost passed out. He got dizzy, thought he was tripping balls. Like, what is happening right now, Big 12? But you know what? They'll come out and be like, listen, we did a study. It helps these supposed student athletes learn a little better. So, we're just going to keep raking in the ad dollars here that we're going to be getting from this. Yeah. Unbelievable.
They'll put some BS that, it's actually positive
it's a positive spin, without a doubt. Yeah, it's terrible.
It never fails.
No.
It never fails, man.
Awful.
It's like
go ahead.
It's like the NFL, like being like, we really care about player safety. More Thursday games, more international games. Oh, by the way, we're going to talk about playing on Wednesday now. More kickoffs, by the way.
Thanksgiving Eve, because that's what we want. Yeah, more mediocre, crappy football. That's
that nobody asked for. Yeah,
nobody.
Now you can't even use in a contest because it's a midweek and it completely screws up your five pick card. So
you couldn't let the NBA just have their Christmas. Nope, you had to tread all over that. And oh, by the way, 3 of the worst goddamn games that we had all year last year landed on Christmas. So thanks, appreciate that.
Merry freaking Christmas, man, indeed. Well, Joe, we have 2 NBA games here to get into with you, and you've been on an insane NBA run, 13-3 in the last 16. So I certainly want to get your thoughts on what could be the preview of the NBA Finals. Boston Celtics, Oklahoma City Thunder. That's where we'll kick it off here, man. Thoughts on this one, Joe?
Yeah, by the way, I just want to mention, I think Bam Adebayo was just fouled again.
We'll get your thoughts on that. Don't worry. We'll get your thoughts on that, Joe.
I'm just saying, I think he's shooting another free throw right now. Listen, this is going to be good. The good news for Oklahoma City is Chet Holmgren is off the injured list here, so they'll likely have enough here to go toe-to-toe with the Celtics. But the Celtics, White, Tatum, still looks like they're still questionable in this game. I don't know. It's been a rough trip here for the Celtics right now. I don't know how much they're going to push in a game that's A, out of conference, B, I don't know how desperate they are to actually try to win this game. And the Oklahoma City Thunder at home have always been, they're a tough out. And it looks like they'll have enough pieces back to make a go at this. But keep an eye on the injury report with the Celtics, right? Because if Tatum is going to go, if Pritchard is going to go, he's been ill. He missed the last game. White should be able to go. Hopefully Jaylen Brown doesn't get thrown out in the first 8 minutes with a double technical. That would be great if he could stay on the court here. But call me crazy. This feels like if they show up and show out, forget about the points. This feels a little bit light, this number here, because it could be raining threes. The Celtics have been doing it with defense. We know the Oklahoma City Thunder are going to bring the defense, but my goodness, 216.5 is tough. I almost think maybe a team total under is probably the better way to go in this game. And sorry, Celtics fans, I'm not buying it here. I don't think Tatum, I don't think they all go. I think you're going to have maybe one, if not two, of those guys not on the court here tonight, at which point I would look at a team total under for the Celtics.
Joe, I agree completely. If you're the Celtics, this is the game to sit a couple guys. Tatum has looked fantastic.
Yep.
Why tempt fate here? But did you watch that Celtics game when Jaylen Brown got thrown out? I was watching that live. Did you happen to see it?
Yes, I did. And then I watched them break in with Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat fouling with 90 seconds left just to give them a couple extra shots, which is just hilarious on so many levels. But yeah, typical. The best part about that was Jaylen Brown getting thrown out, and 5 minutes later, they're posting up an X post from him, right? That's like, this is the kind of crap I'm talking about. I'm just
he was in the locker room, like firing off a tweet.
Fantastic, yes.
And by the way, the play that he was upset about was such a know-nothing, and he was in the wrong. Like, somebody like gently put their hand on his hip, and he throws himself into the crowd. And there was no foul. And he loses his mind. I was like, of all the calls, you're gonna die on your sword. That's the one. It didn't make any sense. So
no.
Let's talk about Dan's poor 76ers. Dan, your team was so fun. Edgecombe, Maxey, even Embiid was kind of fun. But now you got cheating Paul George. He's out. Embiid is hurt again. Tyrese Maxey, they say they're going to reevaluate in 3 weeks, which is what, the playoffs?
Yeah.
This team
they went from being fun on the court to being in filling up an entire wing in Thomas Jefferson Hospital there in Philly. So that's now they have more players in street clothes sitting on the bench than they do in uniform, dude. It sucks. It's just when I wanted to buy in, Joe. This is what they do to me. And now now you have the Pistons laying 15 and a half. Good God.
Which isn't a great listen. Love Detroit, but my good, they have not been great laying these kinds of numbers. I mean, listen, they just came off a 4-game losing streak because they got to take on a rec league team there in the Brooklyn Nets and dropped almost 140 points on them there. So they were able to at least get out of their own way there and kind of get right. Now they're home. Now you're taking on the 76ers. I don't trust Detroit to win by this number against the Sixers team that just dropped another 140 points against Memphis. So, and they didn't have anybody in that game either. They are more than capable of scoring here. Are they going to win the 76ers? Likely not. But one of the first bets that I made this morning was it was 220.5. It's now 221.5. And I agree with it. I think points are coming in this game here. I don't for 1 minute believe that the Pistons are going to lay it all out there and make sure that the 76ers can't get out of their own way. If this is, in fact, a blowout like the market says it's going to be, then we're looking at least $1.20, if not $1.25 or more from the Detroit Pistons here, at which point I am sure the 76ers can get us enough points to be able to get this thing up and over the total.
I agree. It's an insane number. Absolutely. It's an insane number.
I'm not ready to throw it. This isn't like vintage Pistons, but they should, if they're going to blow out the Sixers, they're scoring $1.25 in this game. Make no mistake about it.
All right. Bam Adebayo. I'm going to give you 3 numbers. Which is the craziest? 43 field goals, 22 3-point attempts, 43 free throws, or the fact that he still didn't have a double-double.
That's my favorite part of it. That's my favorite part.
My favorite part is that he didn't get a double-double with 83. Imagine if you took Bam to have a double-double, he goes for 83, and you lose your double-double.
I had to. If you're already counting your money.
Like you just compared a stat line to Kobe's line against Toronto back in his 81 points and what Bam Adebayo did. And it's like night and day. He had more points in the first half than he has had in his career in any full game. Like he had already gone over that. But here is the thing, guys. Here's the thing. Okay. we're pissed off at the wrong thing here. Bam Adebayo is not the problem. The Miami Heat are not the problem. If you are going to sit there and foul somebody and put them on the line 43 times, I am going to take every one of those points I can. If you're going to allow me to get away with the kind of crap Miami was getting away with there, that's on you, Washington Wizards. In what world would Charles Oakley or Lambie or anybody, you would have had to carry Bam out on a stretcher before they ever fouled him 43 to put him on the line and get 43 foul shots. He wouldn't have been able to walk out of the arena if that crap went on. But you know who allowed it to happen? The Washington Wizards. So I'm not blaming Miami. If a team is going to give you that, you take it. It's the NBA. It's big boy basketball. But the Washington Wizards are the problem here because the Washington Wizards didn't give a crap one way or the other and were more than complicit in allowing that to happen there. You're the reason it happened, Wizards. It's not because of Miami. The Washington Wizards had no pride and didn't care an ounce that they were getting embarrassed in Miami in that game.
I agree. Like, I know the Washington Wizards are tanking, but isn't there a little
Have
pride?
some pride. Allowed that kind of crap would never happen in baseball. You know why? Because you get 101 mile an hour ball right into the head. Yeah. And that would be, you're up 14-0 and you're taking pitches. Here's a fastball right into the chin. Where was that with the Wizards? Like, the Wizards allowed that to go on. Why hate Bam? Bam's only taking what you're giving him.
Good point.
It is true. It is true.
Could you imagine?
22
could you imagine Charles Oakley being like, let's just foul him, put him on the line 43 times. It'd have broke your kneecaps, man. That would have, like, no way would that have been allowed.
Well, even nowadays, try that against the Thunder and Lou Dort. Try that against Dylan Brooks.
Where is the pride? Like, we're hating the wrong side here. It ain't Miami you should be laughing. It's the Wizards that were just like, Dad, man, you got it. No problem. 83. We're fine with this.
Oh, the Wizards. God love them. The gift that keeps on giving. So, all right, Joe, what do you got going on? It's Thursday. We got a ton of college basketball. We got NBA. I know you're locked and loaded. What do you got for us?
Yeah, and having said that, Tech's out to a 10-2 lead over Iowa State. Of course they are. By the way, did Miami of Ohio? Okay, they're up 10 with 10 minutes to go. Miami of Ohio and UMass going on right now. Yeah, locked and loaded, 4% college basketball, 4% NBA, ready to go here on what should be a fun card tonight in both college and the association, both available over at WagerTalk.com, and take advantage of that March Madness bonanza. Don't buy single plays, guys. Just get every play from now through the national championship. That's the way to do it for $1.49. Take advantage. Everybody's page, I believe, over at WagerTalk.com, guys.
Love it, Joe. Thanks.
Boom.
Hope you have fun
Thanks,
partying with Bam.
Now I get to go hang out with the Prez. That's even better. Good Christ.
Way worse.
Yeah, there you go.
Lost out on that one. Best betting show ever. You can check that out here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. It goes up each and every afternoon. So you're subscribed, folks. You're going to get it automatically. If you haven't hit that little bell already and you watch our shows, folks, what are you doing? Just hit that little subscribe button. We would greatly appreciate it. Tell your buddies to tune in as well, and we can continue to grow the community here. But hit that subscribe, and you'll always know when all these videos go live.
Yeah, there's some talk about Wilt Chamberlain and his thing. Also, keep in mind, Wilt was playing against part-time plumbers.
Yes.
Yes. Like, say what you will about Bam, but Bam was going up against professional athletes. Wilt was going up against guys that were electricians. And
make a good point.
That's
I also think that's weird,
not
Andy.
An exaggeration.
There's no footage. There's not, and they had cameras back then, folks. I've researched it. I just think it's the whole Wilt 100-point game thing is weird to me. I'd say it's put me in. It's not like a flat Earth conspiracy theory, Andy, but this is like my tepid take that I'm not really buying the Wilt 100-point game. I'm not. So there you go, Andy. Take it for what it's worth.
Hot take. Yeah. Speaking of hot take, let's bring in Steve. We got to talk some college basketball. Steve.
Oh yeah.
Appreciate you jumping in. Kind of short notice here, Steve. your take on Bam scoring points and Dan's take that he doesn't believe that Wilt scored 100 points.
Hot take.
We don't have footage of it.
I would play if it wasn't copyrighted. I would play the X-Files music right here. No proof of Will's 100-point game. I'm not buying it, Steve.
So I've got it in front of me. I was looking this up earlier. I love this list because Devin Booker's at 70. That was always the real outlier for me. But then Embiid's done it since, and then Damian Lillard's 71's the one a lot of people don't know are on there as well. And of course, more recently, Doncic also did it, which I'd forgotten about. But I always like to look at the win-loss because Chamberlain actually had 78 in the game they lost. David Thompson 73, the team lost. Devin Booker's game when he had 70, the team lost. And I remember a game, Kobe's finale. What did he have, like 60-something in his last game ever? I think they lost that game as well, the Lakers, if I'm not mistaken. So it's very interesting to me as a coach that, these guys go off. The teams don't necessarily play well because something's wrong if one guy has to do that much scoring. The Chamberlain one, I would love to have seen that. Don't forget they changed rules because of him. Goaltending, I think no dunking, 3-second violation. They changed the size of the lane. If I'm not mistaken, all of those changes were made because of one player, which is why he's the most dominant basketball player ever. However, it was men against boys back then. However, that game the other day was a little fishy as well. I almost think the officials maybe had some Bam Adebayo props to the over, except for that double-double prop, as you guys mentioned.
I have proof, guys. I have a 100-point game. I also had a 100-point game. Here's my proof.
Did you ever see the picture? He was on the moon the next day with the astronauts.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I showed you my proof, Andy. I also had a 100-point game in the NBA.
I agree with Klay Thompson's quarter where I think he had 30-something points in a quarter. That was
that's crazy.
That was the single craziest scoring thing I've ever seen, like watching it. Obviously we couldn't watch Wilt, but I thought that was more impressive than Bam putting up an 80 on the Washington Wizards. So all right, Steve, let's talk a couple of college basketball games here. We got TCU Kansas, we got Clemson versus North Carolina. I'm just gonna let you have the floor, break down both of these games and tell us what you have up at WagerTalk.
Yeah, we'll start with the ACC game. We got two 9:30 Eastern national TV games in college hoops tonight. First one is on ESPN in the ACC tournament between North Carolina and Clemson. We have some uncertainty in this game. One of the best players for Clemson might not go tonight. Junior 6'10" junior Carter Welling, who hurt his knee last night in an easy win against Wake Forest. Now the final was 71-62, but Clemson was up by 20 in the second half of that game, 52-32. And they really cruised. They had multiple guys play double-digit minutes. So while they are coming in unrested, I don't think it'll be much of a factor. North Carolina had the bye, coming off the loss against Duke, of course, in their regular season finale, should have them extra focused. On the surface, I normally would like the matchup here for Clemson because they do have the game under their belt. Sometimes that momentum carries, and they also play extremely slow half-court basketball, whereas Carolina likes to play faster. But the uncertainty with Carter Welling not playing tonight, and just looking at his recent games, he's been a fairly important player. He gets about 15 to 20 minutes a game, does add some uncertainty there. I think if you're going to look at Clemson in this one, you look at them in the first half. We do see teams with the extended layoff sometimes coming a little bit flat. Also think Clemson's going to slow this game down early, which will give them the edge in the first half as well, and could catch Carolina a little off guard. And once again, Clemson had a lot of guys play minutes last night, but it was spread out. So I do like Clemson early in this game if you're looking at the side. That's around that pick 'em to +1 range on the first half line. We've also seen some money, though, coming in the under in this game. And I agree with that move because here again, I think Clemson will look to slow things down, and that could frustrate North Carolina. So if you lean Clemson +1 in the game or +1 first half, I think you also want to take a look at the under. It opened 141. It's now down to 139, even 138.5 at some of the sharper books. I like the under 138.5, 139 in this game tonight between North Carolina and Clemson at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN. All right, your other game's a little bit cleaner. Not a lot of injuries in this Big 12 matchup at 9:30 Eastern. This one on ESPN2, the Deuce, TCU and Kansas. And by the way, the Carolina game's in Charlotte. This Kansas game is in Kansas City, Missouri. So both teams will have a slight home crowd edge, to say the least. This one pits the Horned Frogs coming off their win against Oklahoma State. Joe Raineri's alma mater, Oklahoma State, 95-88 yesterday. Nothing misleading about that. It was a fast, high-scoring game. Both offenses thrived. The TCU defense, though, was not very good, and that'll be a problem here against a much better Kansas team that also comes in off the bye and an easy win last Saturday in their home finale against rival Kansas State. Beat them by 19 in that game. These two squads faced off earlier this season. It was a home game for Kansas, and they barely won 104-100 in overtime in that one. And that's a game in which Kansas actually trailed a good amount of the game. TCU actually outplayed them, but came up a little short in overtime. And yes, obviously, overtime got the game over the 200-point range, but the pace of play was extremely fast in that one. And I think we could see a similar situation here again tonight. As I mentioned earlier, teams that play the day before often have momentum coming in here. So if you're going to look at TCU, you might want to take a look at them on the first half line. The full game line right now is about 5.5 to 6. First half line is around 3.5. So it's actually a little bit more than half the game line, which I disagree with because I think TCU has more of an edge early in this game with the momentum situation. So I like the Horned Frogs plus the 3.5 first half if you're looking that way. And as I mentioned, the other game this season was extremely fast-paced, high scoring, even without the overtime. I think the over 142.5, 143 makes some sense. And the money moves agree here in this one. It opened 142.5. It's up to 143.5 in most situations. I agree with that move to the over. I think this game could have a lot of points tonight at 9:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Now, there's a ton of college basketball games. I just gave you 2 of them for free, but I've got a strong client best bet in college hoops tonight. Also one in the NBA for my clients on Thursday. They're both available right now on my page, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and also the daily free play. Don't forget about the free play. It's truly the last cut for my best bet card each and every day, just a bit outside. It goes up for free for everybody. So if you want a bonus free play, if you want some strong best bets tonight, check out my page right now, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com. Get there quicker with that code you see in the shortcut code you see in the corner of the screen, WT.buzz/SM. And while you're there, check out some special offers. We still have the buy 3 days, get 3 more days for free. It's 6 days for the price of 3. We also have the Bonanza special for college basketball. Dun, 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 Bonanza! The rest of the college basketball season through the championship game, every play, every day for just $149. Or if you're ready to take that long-term investment approach, the 1-year all access does have an instant $500 discount now. And this is really a great time to get on board because you're going to get the entire postseasons for college and pro basketball, basically all of next year's regular seasons, the complete baseball season from start to finish, which starts in a few weeks, and the complete college and pro football seasons around the corner. So this is a great time to make that commitment to a true investment approach. 365-day all access. You see over a $500 instant discount. That gets it down to less than $4 a day. That's about $1 a play for every sport every day. Doesn't matter if you take one play, 1 day, 1 week, or 1 year. Every client gets the exact same best bets I'm personally using. And it's been that way since I started back in August of 1996, almost 30 years now. I've been doing this full-time on a daily basis. Get my personal best bets, free play daily, Steve Merrill, WagerTalk.com, and get there quicker, WT.buzz/SM. By the way, free NBA double video for you for Thursday night as well. So make sure you click subscribe and you click the bell here on Wager Talk TV so you know when these free play videos go up. And also, hey, thumbs up, like the videos, quick comment below, and I will keep them coming each and every day right here on Wager Talk TV.
And Steve also is getting you that top 25 video on a weekly basis here, folks. And college basketball is coming to a close. And Steve, you're about to be damn busy because when March Madness comes, you threw down the gauntlet last year and you were like, you know what? You people want games. I'll give you all the games. Are you challenging yourself again this year to be breaking down all these games for these folks?
Yeah, I did it last year. And I don't know if I did it the year before. I think I might have now. This might be the 3rd straight year. I know I did the NBA every playoff game for at least 2 straight years. So this will be the 3rd year for that. It all runs together, guys. You know, someone's like, when did you start Fade the Public? I was like, a couple years ago. And I was like, it was like 5 years ago. And then, yeah, and Andy and I were doing the NASCAR show a couple years ago. That was 5 years ago. Andy is like 2020. 6. You see, even now I got it wrong. It was 6 years ago. It was the summer of 2020. Yeah, I'm going to do every NCAA tournament game. I actually missed one last year, guys. I was doing the Friday video. And I missed the game from the play-in round where you didn't know the matchup.
How dare you?
And I realized, I think it was Texas and somebody. And I remember later, I was like, I don't remember talking about the Texas game. I think I only did 15 instead of 16. So, yeah, mistakes happen. By the way, Dan, can't do the top 25 this Saturday because we literally don't know the matchups until
Yeah.
like midnight Friday night. So that probably won't be up. Although I'll see. Maybe I'll do a quick standalone. If you guys, are around, you can throw it up there. We'll take a look and maybe get something up for Saturday. But it's another great reason, in all seriousness, to click subscribe and click the bell, because you don't have to keep checking in. You get an instant alert when the games are posted and the free play videos are posted from all of us at WagerTalk TV.
Love it, Steve. Couldn't have said it better myself. That's Steve Merrill. At Steve Merrill is where you can follow him on Twitter, wt.buzz/SM. I still have a lacrosse play coming up. Andy still has his all around the world coming up. But right now, the man, the myth, the legend, the Bianco. That's right, Carm. We've been seeing it, or you, I guess, should say, has been seeing it lovely here on the ice. Sure, okay, you drop one, Carm, but the run that you're on, dude, tell the folks about it. I had to bring it up.
Yeah, no, listen, I get, and thank you for putting Steve Merrill after Joe instead of me, because, man, Joe brings the energy, man. The guy should be sponsored.
I got your
by
back.
Nespresso. The guy's unbelievable. But listen, it's been a great run, NHL, 13-2-1. I think I channeled Dan. I channeled the Canada's silver medal, the loss of the gold medal game, into anger, and I'm coming after the NHL on it.
That's well done.
So I want to talk a couple games. Normally, I want to talk about the games that are you can make cases for both sides with four really good teams, and we got the first one we're going to talk about is the Edmonton and Dallas game. This game's in Dallas. Dallas is playing some phenomenal hockey at the moment. 7-1 their last 8. I think you need to take it with a grain of salt. The win streak. They are a very good team. They are playing extremely well. But you look at them, and only one of those wins came against a playoff team, and that was the Vegas Golden Knights, who are struggling right now at the moment. Pretty much every other game, the other six wins have come against teams that are in the bottom half of each conference, and teams are in the bottom 5 in each conference as well too. The Oilers, listen, goaltending is always going to be an issue with them, but a move at the trade deadline to get Connor Murphy, who helps out that second line of defense for them, and they've been playing well. They went into Colorado and beat the Avalanche there 4-3. You look at them, winners of 3 of their last 4 wins over Colorado, Vegas, and Ottawa. Ottawa is one of the hottest teams in the NHL going into last night, in which, of course, they lost to Montreal. And the loss came against Carolina. So they're playing some very good teams. They're playing well. And these are just 2 teams that know each other well. Last year, Dallas beat the Oilers 2-1 in the season series, but the Edmonton Oilers knocked them out in the playoffs 4 games to 1. It's sort of mimicking that this season. Dallas has won the first 2 games. This is the final game, the final meeting between these 2 teams. And that last outing was in November, where they went into Edmonton and completely embarrassed them, scoring 8 goals in that one. So the Oilers aren't going to forget about that one as well too. I think the Oilers are a live dog here. Now, plus 106, you wonder, plus 105, plus 106, you wonder, well, that's not really a dog. It is in this situation with these 2 teams. I'm taking the plus money here. I think the better side in this one, the better upside is likely the Edmonton Oilers, with some improved defensive play.
Carm, my understanding is what is your streak? 13-1 in NHL?
13-2-1.
13-2-1.
About 87% run.
It's not bad. Did you lose one last night though?
Yes, I did. The Washington.
So you're on an 0-1 streak.
Have you ever seen the announcers? Have you ever seen the announcers jinx? This is, and it's not you guys. It is. I'm watching the game, and at the end of the first period, they put up a stat. Washington's up 1-0 against Philadelphia. They put up a stat. The Washington Capitals are 19-1-1 when leading after one period. And then they lose 4-1.
Done. Yeah, the bet was done in the second.
I'm happy to be number 2 on that list of losses that they've suffered this season. So
that's congratulations. That's an awesome streak here. Do you follow the World Baseball Classic? Do you know anything about this Italian team?
Yeah, listen. It is. It's. I was cheering for the Italians yesterday because it gets it gets the USA into it. And like every single player on the Italian team is living in the US. So it's funny in the sense
Most
of
players in this
the
tournament
argument
anyway,
is
yeah.
always, and Dan, you guys, you know it. The argument is always, I have hockey related, is like, well, the Stanley Cup hasn't been to Canada since like 1993. The USA owns the thing. Yeah, but the 55% of the roster live in Canada full time. They're Canadians playing on US teams. And now these are Americans playing on, I think the funniest thing is I saw a tweet that said, so tonight we're watching the American Italians taking on the American Mexicans to see if the USA Americans can advance. And it just goes like the USA team. I think I was more shocked by the fact that prior to the game against Italy, that the USA manager did not know the rules of the World Baseball Classic.
Details, Carm.
And started a less than stellar team, but USA is going to go on a run. You know what's going to happen. So,
yeah, absolutely. What else is going on in the NHL tonight? We got a pretty good
Pittsburgh and Vegas. So, anyone who has watched Puck Time, especially in the last 2 weeks, I've been telling people that I felt the Vegas Golden Knights were going to miss the playoffs. At the time I said that, people thought I might have been drinking because they had a 99% chance of making the playoffs. They were plus 2,200 to miss the playoffs. And I said, that is a great price, because I did some schedule forecasting on them. They proceeded to lose, I think, 6 of 7 games. They dropped to plus 1,500. I mentioned it again at plus 1,500. It had value on them to miss the playoffs. They are now plus 750 to miss the playoffs. So that price, if you got it at 2,200 or plus 1,500, you're looking good. And they still have a tough schedule. Now, they return home off a brutal road trip in which their only win was a late comeback and then win in overtime against the Detroit Red Wings. But this is a team that is 1-6 in their last 7 games. One of those losses came to this Pittsburgh team in Pittsburgh, losing 5-0 in that game. You look at the Penguins, obviously Evgeny Malkin suspended, 5-game suspension, so he's not in the lineup. Sidney Crosby was injured in the Olympics. He's not in the lineup. But Sidney wasn't in the lineup when they beat him 5-0 in that game. The Penguins had a road trip in which it was against West Coast teams, and this was just before the Olympic break. They went to Seattle, then they played the Edmonton Oilers, Calgary, and Vancouver, and they swept that road trip, winning 4-0. Are they a live dog here? Absolutely. Plus 129 here, even though Vegas holds a lifetime record of 5-2 on home ice against this Pittsburgh team. Vegas just isn't playing well right now. They're not scoring goals. You have Mark Stone out of the lineup, and it's a big miss for them because their scoring has dropped off with him missing. The one other stat I want to look at is the fact that Pittsburgh's goalie tonight is likely going to be Artur Shilovs. Shilovs has been very good of late. He's 6-2 his last 8 games. On the road, he is 6-2-3, and his splits on the road are much better. 233 goals against average, 917 save percentage, much better than Aiden Hills, who's going to be the starting goalie likely for the Vegas Golden Knights tonight. We got to stop making excuses for teams like Vegas. This has been a season in the NHL like no other, with a lot of teams, Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, the New York Rangers, New Jersey, teams that you expected to be in a playoff position at this point in the season, missing the playoffs. So it's not a big stretch to say that Vegas is going to miss the playoffs. But as far as this game goes, I am taking the plus money here with the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, it makes all the sense in the world on that one. So I was asking Prez yesterday, it's so hard going into the playoffs, but who's your favorite teams to win the whole thing this year right now?
So I'm Dan knows I'm a long-suffering Buffalo fan. I'm a Buffalo Bills fan. We just can't do anything. I'm a Buffalo Sabres fan, And for some reason, the Sabres are one of the best teams in the NHL and the best team since December the 9th. I think the most points earned, their first place in the Atlantic Division. I didn't see that coming at all. They're just playing some phenomenal hockey, playing very good defense. The playoffs are a different beast, though. So we'll see in a 7-game series against a team like Carolina or a team like the Tampa Bay Lightning, whether they can get it done. The Oilers are a live dog at 10-1. Make the playoffs, get in there. And anytime you have a guy like Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid, you always have a chance. They made it to the Cup final the last 2 years. So obviously the talent is there despite some goaltending issues. Colorado is still the team. Once healthy, I think they're the best team in the NHL. So I'm giving you 2 or 3 of them there. I think out of the East, it's likely going to be Tampa Bay when they finally get their ducks in a row and play a lot better. And it wouldn't surprise me if it is a Tampa Bay Colorado Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, Ross has been very excited about the Buffalo Sabres. And their,
I am going to the game on March 27th in Buffalo with they play the Red Wings, and Johnny Detroit and his lovely wife Paula are making the drive in. So I picked up some tickets. 4 of us are going to go and watch the game, eat some Buffalo Wild Wings or some Buffalo Wings, some beef on weck, have a few beers, and then watch the Sabres roll the Red Wings 10-0.
10-0. 10-0. All right.
If the Sabres beat them 10-0, there's probably going to be a new host on Puck Time. Andy Lang and Andrew McInnes. Carmine has been tossed a sports memo or something. Who knows?
What do you have up for everybody, Carmine?
5% play up in the NHL. As I mentioned, a 13-2-1 run in the NHL. A couple plays going in Europa League action. First game goes at 1:45. Second game is at 4 p.m. today. Fantastic run as well, too, in soccer in 2026. Number 1 over at WagerTalk. And they have a great deal up on the deals page. You can get the Cup to Cup special, which is the rest of the NHL season plus the NHL playoffs, and then the World Cup, which is being played in North America this year. Every single World Cup play from me, all in one package. And that is, I think, $274 is the price that Melissa put up on the page there. So head over to the deal section, no coupon needed, and you can grab that.
Beauty. Thank you, Carmine. Appreciate
Best
all
of luck,
your
Carm.
NHL knowledge.
Thanks
Keep
for
that
having me,
streak
guys.
going, brother. All right.
Now
Dan,
it'll be a 1-0 streak starting tonight. 1-0 streak starting tonight, baby.
all right. We got a lot of free plays to get to and such.
Yes.
Do we have a WTF LFG
Yeah.
play? Okay.
Yeah,
What you
here,
got for
I'll
us?
get that one for you, Andy, because this one is one that didn't make the client card. This is one that I'm betting like a 1%er on. So I don't love it. It's a play that it makes sense to me here, Andy. I just wish the number was a little bit lower. We're laying 2.5 with Ohio State tonight as they're taking on Denver. So if this was 1.5, this would be a bigger play for me. I think that you're potentially seeing a situation here in which Ohio State, who's coming off a really close loss to one of the best teams in the nation in Notre Dame, just lost 8-9. They were playing Georgetown the game before that. They won 10-9. This is a team in Ohio State that finally just wants a comfortable win. And unfortunately for Denver, who has matched up really well against this team over the past few seasons, they just haven't been what you've come to expect here from the Denver Pioneers. Sure, they were 4-1, but when they played against good competition, it just hasn't gone very well for them. Lost 13-9 to Cornell. Utah is probably their nicest win. They were only able to get an 8-7 win in that. And then you have wins over a bad Air Force team, bad Cleveland State team. So just shapes up, Andy. If this was 1.5, it would be a big time play for me. But lay the 2.5. I think Ohio State's winning this thing by 3 or more goals. It's a 1% bet for me that I bet personally, Andy. But we do have a premium lacrosse play that we like quite a bit. That one's locked and loaded. It goes this evening. It's in that Syracuse game. It's the only 2 games that are on today, so that kind of tells you what it is. We've had a great read on Syracuse. I think it continues tonight, Andy. So the free play for you, lay it with Ohio State. The premium play, we have a lacrosse special that you can actually grab. 30 days of all access for a great price. So check that out. WT.buzz/AL is where you can lock in lacrosse plays through the rest of the month.
Yeah, $69 for the rest of the season for Lacrosse. No brainer. We've got a 4% Lacrosse play that Dan mentioned, and I paired that with our 4% darts play that is up for the Premier League. So you got a couple 4% plays that go off today, so we can get that locked in. And then I've decided. So Seth texted me, let me know Bet365 has changed their opinion on the golf play. They refunded all the bets.
Oh, they refunded too? So now it's just there's one spot holding out, pressure. Folks. Put the pressure on the blue book.
Yes. Make sure that they're following suit. The more people that contact them and say, give me my money back, the more pressure it's going to put on them, and they will probably eventually do the right thing with more and more books refunding Colin Morikawa bets. So, all right, let's do some free plays here before we get out of here. Let's go all around the world. This play starts here in a little bit, probably a half hour. So, Xander Schauffele on DraftKings over 10.5 pars. A big storm just came through and kind of softened the course up a little bit, but it's windy. This afternoon, they're going to have to play some defensive golf. There's not a lot of birdies to be had out there with the wind. Greens are going to be soft, so they're going to be readable. I don't see a lot of bogeys. I don't see a lot of birdies, so I like Schauffele. Look for him to shoot, I don't know, 2 under, maybe 3 under. But his strokes gained has been good. Stats across the board have been solid, but this course is playing pretty tough. I like him over his pars. Dyson Daniels over 12.5 rebounds and assists. He's gone over in 5 straight, getting a ton of potential assists and a lot of rebound chances. So Dyson Daniels, it's a big number, but I don't think it's big enough. He's had 13 plus in 5 straight. Plus money, Bruno De Silva over Charles Johnson. Dan, I just want to bet on fighters that are on steroids. I just give me the guy that's on the juice going up against the guy that just got knocked out in January.
Great handicap.
Bruno De Silva showed up and had so much back knee. It was startling in his last fight. Yeah, Charles Johnson got knocked out in the first round in January against a fighter that's not known as a knockout artist. So chin is soft. Bruno De Silva can hit hard, especially when he's on the juice. Give me Bruno De Silva at plus money over Charles Johnson. Don't be surprised if you see a knockout in this one. So that's going to be – it's a general rule. Play fighters where the line moves $1 after weigh-ins. Play guys that are obviously on steroids. Those are going to be your big plays. So I think we're going to start a new mission, the Let It Ride mission after – the debacle today with Morikawa. I think we're going to start one on Saturday. So I'll go over that one tomorrow. So I promise we'll get you guys taken care of. So that was just a brutal start to the day. So, but hey, this is the business that we choose. So, all right, that's going to do it for us. Thanks very much for watching, guys. Hit the like button, leave us a comment. Tell us what your best bet is for today. We're going to be back same time, same place tomorrow. Get you locked and loaded for the weekend. Good luck on all your bets, guys. Thanks for joining us. And I will be live on the